Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies.
No has sido un buen hijo mío.
No,
No, si no escribes ni ruedas, ¿qué vas a hacer?
vivir, supongo.
Estoy con Salvador Mayo.
¿Y qué es? ¿Drama o comedia?
Pues no lo sé. Eso no se sabe. Buen viaje. Muchas gracias por venir, de verdad.
I think it's a pretty good movie, and for the most part, I really like it. It should be noted that the movie does feel like two movies. The main character is Salvador Mayo, and the two movies basically are separate points in his life. First, it's his adulthood, where he's an aging film director and his health is in decline. And the other is when he's a child living with his mom. Honestly, it feels more like his mom's story, played by Penélope Cruz. At first, it doesn't feel like it's well connected, but I won't give anything away, but it's actually better connected than you might think. And I just want to give everyone that little heads up. Man of the Hour, Banderas is actually really good in this flick. He is funny, he is charismatic, he is heartbreaking at times. In fact, this might be one of his more dramatic roles that I've seen in a long time out of the dude. But he still has that Zorro charm, what can I say? I love the chemistry that he has with the actor that plays Alberto. There's this really brilliant love-hate relationship that they have, and you've got some pretty golden moments. Like, Alberto goes outside, and he's about to smoke meth, and he refers to it as chasing dragons.
And you completely lose your head.
Salvador looks over, and he's all like, "Can I try some? Have you ever done it before?" Nope. So why now? Because I'm curious. Well, now we kick off a drug addiction subplot, and, well, what can I say? Banderas is a lot of fun in this role. His more heartbreaking scenes come kind of later on when he's forced to deal with his declining health, but he nails it, and I honestly think it's a truly great role that he picked. Banderas isn't the only one that steals the show. Penelope Cruz really acts her ass off here. The woman spends most of the movie living in a cave, and yet she makes it look good. How do you do that? But it's true. Woman is just flawless. Damn! But more than that, I would say that her section of the movie is more about her than it is young Salvador. I say this because she's the one with kind of the more problems that she has to face, especially when dealing with young Salvador. Salvador grew up poor, and she's always looking for some angle to make more money or to make life easier. Hence, she sends him off to a seminary, I think it's called. Is that the word? Anyway, that's the only way that a poor kid can get educated, where he learns how to read and write, which is uncommon in the village that they live in. So other people take notice. Salvador teaches an older man how to write in exchange for him painting their cave. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but honestly, cave is kind of funny. Puts up tiles in the kitchen and basically just helps out around the home. So I really enjoy how Cruz just really looks battered, but still looks good being battered down in their lifestyle. The acting really holds up the movie, and I think there's a reason why. I think this is kind of a loose, true story kind of thing between Antonio Banderas and the director of this movie. Apparently they worked on a film in the past and had a falling out, but obviously they patched things up here because they're working together again, and honestly gave Banderas one of his best roles, at least in recent years. Unfortunately, as good as the acting is, and it's spectacular, I can't help but have a couple of problems. Salvador has a gay relationship that they only really touch upon. For most of the movie, it's just Salvador trying to patch things up with Alberto and get them both to talk about their film that they made 32 years ago, because now it's being held as a classic. And it's just this tug of war between, do we still remain friends? Do we still professionally work together, or do we just part ways? It's fun like that, but there's very little mention of Salvador's homosexual side. In fact, it's only brought up once. Apparently, there's a subplot where Salvador has a play that he's writing, and Alberto wants to act in it. And it's a retelling of Salvador's life, basically, when he was living with a former lover. And just by happenstance, that very same lover that Salvador had as a younger adult just happens to come across this play, and they get in touch, and we dedicate entire scenes to Salvador and this guy Federico for no reason. The scene happens, and then when it ends, that's it. The homosexual side of Salvador doesn't factor into the rest of the story. It's literally, the movie stops to have this romance, and it makes very little sense. It's done well, and even later on, it's almost like the filmmakers realized, oh, we threw this scene in there. It makes no difference to the narrative. It doesn't contribute to the narrative much. We need to figure out how to justify this shit. So they threw in another scene when Salvador was a kid, and like the guy that he's teaching how to read and write, he wants to take a bath. It's not as bad as I'm making it sound.
Oh, thank God.
Salvador goes into another room, whereas the guy bathes himself in the kitchen. It's like a giant pail and stuff. It's the 60s. What do you want from me? But we get eyefuls of dongs and balls, man. And then this guy requests a towel. Salvador brings it to him. He has like a sunstroke or something. I feel like the only reason we have this scene is to show when exactly Salvador developed his homosexuality later on in life.
Sounds a little far-fetched.
Again, these scenes aren't exactly done poorly, and you can argue that they're very brave for doing so, but it just doesn't factor into Salvador's character that much. If you want focus on it, put focus on it. You know, have it be part of the story from the beginning. Overall, I think it's pretty good. I think it's definitely worth checking out. Banderas is awesome. Cruz is awesome. There's an awesome little twist at the end. Twist may be a strong word, but I'm going to call it one. It's still pretty awesome. There's certainly subplots that I feel like could have been better explored or better implemented into the overall narrative, but as is, if you're looking for a good Antonio Banderas, Penelope Cruz movie, this is a great one to check out. My honest rating for Pain and Glory is a 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.